right. Hi everyone. We're gonna start the career panel now. Let's start off by introducing ourselves. So I'm Matthew Hung. I'm a junior on FRC 2813. I'm the program manager and drive coach, and I will be interviewing and hosting this career panel. Next up, John, could you introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Jon Falkenburg. I'm currently attending Oregon Institute of Technology in Klamath Falls, Oregon. I'm studying mechanical engineering there, and I'm in my second year.
Clement.
Yeah, so I'm an incoming freshman for UC Santa Barbara, majoring in computer engineering. And during my time on the team, I was the outreach lead, awards lead, and I also taught for the Code Foundation summer camps.
Sid, can you introduce yourself?
For sure. I'm Sid. I'm a rising junior at UCLA studying aerospace engineering. And on Gearheads, I was secretary sophomore year and then VP the junior and senior year.
So I guess we can just kick off the college panel now. So I'm going to start with the first question. So you guys, why did you guys join Gearheads? Is there anything you've learned from first that can be applied to your studies? John, can you start us off?
Yes. So the reason I joined the Gearheads was I think it was lunchtime at my middle school, and the Gearheads were showing off the robot, and I was just fascinated. And at that time, I just made it my goal to be part of that team building that kind of robot once I was in high school, because not only did I want to just learn more, but I also wanted to use my hands and build that kind of thing. And sorry, what was the second part of the question again?
Is there anything you've learned from first that can be applied to your studies?
Um, I've learned a lot of over my past 4 years. I learned a lot of teamwork skills and just general problem solving. So yeah.
All right. So definitely, as a hardware member and someone that's constantly wrenching on the robot, there are some skills that you've learned, the wrenching, how to problem solve, how to apply that to real life issues, your studies, everything else. Clement, do you want to answer the question as well? Kick us off.
Yeah, so I joined the Gearheads over the summer of my after my freshman year. I was kind of just starting to explore like various STEM fields, and I wanted to learn more about engineering and what it was all about, because I heard it was like a big booming field and there's always new evolving technology every day. So my friend recommended it to me. I joined a game night. I really enjoyed it, and also really enjoyed learning all the things in robotics. Um, and for things that I've learned in first that I'm applicable to my studies. So I felt like I was a little bit more on the business side, so I did like a little more writing. And as I'm taking a writing course this coming quarter, I feel like it's a little bit more on the technical writing side. So I feel like that sort of writing and editing skills do kind of roll over. And also I did a little bit of software and a little bit electrical. And I feel like the how to apply those concepts to to actual things like robotics really helps me see why like make me understand why I'm learning certain things.
Yeah, definitely that makes sense. I definitely did a little bit of boards myself. I was able to use that, writing emails, all that stuff prepared me a ton for, formal writing in my English classes, and I'm sure that they're definitely going to help you out when you're in college with your studies and everything else. Sid, could you answer the question as well?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was going to join robotics from the moment I joined high school because I was on a FTC team in middle school and I really liked the experience. So, FRC was the sort of next step uh, for me. As far as my studies goes, I'd say every aspect of robotics could definitely be applied there from a technical standpoint. you do a lot of things. You're exposed to a lot of different things on FRC, and no matter what sub team you're on, and later on, whether you join like a club in college or you're just taking a class, things will sort of click. You'll realize, oh, this is why we did that in high school. Things will all sort of make sense once you actually dive into the theory aspect of that. So it definitely helps you understand what you're studying more, in my opinion. And as well as soft skills like people skills, leadership. If you take on leadership roles, those are definitely applicable. And like the business side, crowdsourcing funds for like a club or something, all of that is applicable. So yeah, definitely good experience.
Yeah, it's definitely great to know that all the technical and all the soft skills that I'm learning currently was going to be applicable to my real life and future endeavors. So thank you guys all for answering. So that was just a little bit about how the gearheads, like the starting point of how they started on gearheads and how that ended up helping them later in their future studies. So the next question is, what actually ended up leading to you picking your area of study? Was there any specific high school classes that helped you choose your study area or your major? I think we can start with John again. John, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. So I didn't really get much of the, oh, hey, I'm an engineer feel from many of my classes during high school, but during all of robotics, like working with people, working in CAD, designing things, building things, everything, you name it, hands on. I was in my sophomore year, I think, when I started thinking about that kind of question. And that was when I kind of connected mechanical engineering with what I'd been doing in robotics this whole time. So, to sum that all up, I basically decided to become an engineer by kind of um, putting it together with all my experience from robotics.
Yeah, it's definitely crazy, not the classes. I definitely relate to what you said. Sometimes, you just take a step back and you say, hey, we built this robot as a team. And that just really inspires you to, hopefully pick robotics as the future area of your study. Thank you for that. Clement, do you want to continue this?
Yeah, so what made me choose computer engineering? So I've always had an early interest in computers. I was always fascinated by, how this like big thing that could, play video games, create Excel spreadsheets, or do a lot of things like would be made in the first place. Like I remember I really enjoyed like repairing and dissecting computers. Um, so that like I kind of started out like being interested in the hardware aspect, and I felt like AP computer science really helped me like enjoy code. Back then I did not enjoy programming, but I felt like that class really helped me digest the concepts in a way that's like understandable. um and then after that I was thinking, oh, so something that combines both the hardware and the software aspects would be computer engineering. And then also took AP Calc and AP Physics. Especially in AP Physics, I learned like circuits and how like electricity works, and that's like how it applied in the aspect of hardware.
Yeah, I'm currently taking AP Comp Sci myself, getting introduced to computer programming. Very it's a definitely challenging course, but I'm learning a lot more about the computer side and coding part of robotics, which I've mainly only been hardware. So it's very interesting to see how comp sci has like an effect on your perspective. Sid, could you continue this?
Yeah, for sure. I'd say I've always had a thing for aviation ever since I was a kid. It's sort of the thing I'd had my heart set on for a long time. So I wouldn't say anything in high school really shaped what major I was gonna try and be in college. That was just something I knew. Um, but as far as what courses helped me, relevant to that, definitely the things you guys have touched on the math side, the calculus series, definitely important if you're going to go into any field of engineering. Um, Physics, there's not a week that goes by that I don't, routinely go back and use some sort of kinematics or something, Newton's laws or whatever. Uh, and I'd say those are the main two courses, but in general, with any engineering degree, no matter how specialized it is, you're gonna have to take courses from all sort of different disciplines before later in your college years you actually trickle down to your operatives where you can focus on your major specific. But like just because I'm aerospace doesn't mean I'm not taking electrical classes. So definitely all these AP classes in high school give you like the right background to succeed, even if it's not like related to your major, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Like, just the amount of effect that an AP class can have in your choice of study and how much experience you can have and how much benefit in college. Definitely something that I'll probably keep in mind when I'm selecting my courses for next year. I thank you all for answering. We can move on to our next question. So, how would you say your work ethic in high school has contributed to your current state, whether it been your applications to college, your sophomore year in college, or your upperclassmen year in college? Oh, John, do you want to start stuff again?
Sure. So from experience in my classes from high school and from my experience with the gearheads, I've learned plenty of teamwork skills, which I've used in multiple group projects that I had in my freshman year. And yeah, I just learned that kind of never give up on anything, no matter how hard it seems to be. After my years in robotics, like, I remember all the times when the robot seemed like it would never be the same, but hey, it worked. So I took that over to college as well. But yeah, I learned to ask a lot of questions, even if they sound dumb, too.
Yeah, definitely. Work ethics. It's robotics has taught us a lot. All those hours at the lab. Through the cold and the heat. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Clement, do you want to continue?
Yeah, so high school, I did a lot of AP classes. I think I did like 12 or something. And I felt like that really taught me time management skills, especially like I remember I used to be like a big procrastinator before senior year. And then senior year when college apps came, I actually had a specific like strategy for like college apps. Like for example, oh, I'm actually going to make the deadline for this college app due a week earlier, so that if I like procrastinate to last minute, I would actually like work on it a week before, and so I'd have more time to revise it. Um, yeah, definitely time management skills. I took a college class this summer, and I really felt that if I did that my homework like the moment it was assigned, I could have a much better time later. Because like if you kind of push off the last minute, you might like not catch a certain specification of the assignment, or you might have like a lot of mistakes in your paper.
Yeah, definitely. As program manager, I've definitely had my share of trying to manage time on robotics. Definitely a challenge, and it's definitely gonna build that time management skills that you can help you with homework, applications, tests, studying. Yeah. So, Sid, do you want to continue?
Yeah, as far as work ethic goes, like you guys have touched on the work ethic you have to keep up to keep your grades up when you're taking AP classes. It definitely does set you up for success when it comes to a college workload. You might even find that a college workload is less than taking like 3 or 4 APs at a time. So that's good, right? You're getting exposed to the worst case scenario with a lot of homework and stuff. And you guys are putting crazy like hours on 2813, especially when build season comes around, dude. I remember like, class ends at what, like after 2, and then you stay in the lab till almost damn near midnight. Then you have to do homework, and it's insane. Um, and that won't necessarily end once you graduate high school if you join like a club, like Formula or building rockets or whatever in college. So just having that experience definitely helps you because it's a big it could be jarring if you go from high school to college and suddenly you're overwhelmed with work. But if you're part of robotics, that probably won't happen to you. So it's definitely a benefit.
Yeah, definitely. I remember as a freshman, sophomore year, I would be spending all my time at the lab. I would rush home and do my homework. So definitely workloads comparable to harder classes junior year. So definitely feeling the pressure now with APs, but hopefully robotics will help deal with that. So next question, do you have any tips for the college application process? So what specifically do you think made your application stand out and how did you approach the application process? Actually, Sid, do you want to start us off this time?
Yeah, sure. As far as the college application process goes, just kind of double down on your strengths. It might be, I don't know, too late depending on where you are in your high school. But for me, my sort of thing was, do one thing but do it well. My one thing was robotics, right? So I didn't try to spread myself too thin, and a lot of the essays I wrote about for college apps were about robotics. And I think that helped my application because like when you spend so much time on an activity, you can really go in depth about it. Especially if you take on like leadership roles, that stuff definitely helps. But just overall, keep your grades up. Write, as corny as it sounds from the heart, like tell a story with your essays. Don't overthink it. But at the end of the day, just remember it's a numbers game. You might just get unlucky when it comes to college. There's just so many applicants nowadays, and just don't take it personally if you don't get into a college or something. It doesn't mean you're less capable or anything. You just probably got unlucky. But the more you go through college, the more you'll realize prestige only matters to a certain point. You're all going to end up in the same place anyways. So uh, just make the most of it. And yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely some good advice on how to apply for colleges. I think all of us can definitely understand spending most of our majority of our time at robotics instead of being social or doing other extracurriculars. So it's great to know that this spending our time at robotics can contribute to something. So thank you for that. And Clement, would you like to continue?
Yeah, so for the college app process, first off, like don't stress too much about it. Like, in the end, there are a lot of paths that you can do. Even if you go to community college, you can definitely succeed too. Um, I would say, so the thing is, I think a lot of high schoolers think that they have a specific major in college they have set in stone and saying, okay, I'm going to do 4 years in this major. And I think college is sort of the place where you like find out if you actually like that major or not. Like in high school, you might find out, oh, I really want to do this sort of major. And then as you take a couple classes, like, oh no, this is too hard for me. I just can't seem to absorb the content. So, it's definitely okay to try a lot of things, apply a wide range of majors. I was primarily interested in like computer engineering or computer science, but I also applied like math or physics or stats, any other subjects of interest. What helped me stand out in the application process? So I had a lot of extracurriculars related to STEM. Robotics was one of them, and also I did Mesa tutoring and programming club, and I just felt like my experience of positively impacting the community through passing on my STEM knowledge and like teaching others helped me stand out. I really feel like you know there's a lot of like teamwork and teaching involved to sort of help you like refine your skills. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I understand that. And yeah, having extracurriculars, all extracurriculars coming together in one direction. That's something can help out with college applications, everything STEM related towards your major. I should probably look into some more. I'll check out the Mesa Club, Programming Club at Prospect. Thank you for that. Sean, do you want to continue?
Sure. Um, yeah, so I can't say much regarding college essays, but regarding the application process, my advice is just get it done as soon as you can. Like, don't rush it, but as soon as you get it, the sooner you get it done, the earlier you have to stop worrying about it. Like, for me, I started planning out my college list and all that maybe around my sophomore year of high school, which maybe sounds a bit ridiculous, but I didn't have to worry about it much by my senior year then. And on the part of what I think made my application stand out a little bit was, although many colleges no longer require the SAT that a lot of people dread, I still decided to do it because a lot of colleges, at least mine, sometimes take those SAT scores and use them for scholarships. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Scholarships are another huge part of applying to colleges, and maximizing your chance of getting one is also something you definitely want to look out for. So, making a list of colleges sophomore year, it's really, really early. I'm a bit behind on that, but thank you for your advice. I should probably get started on that. So, thank you for answering that question about colleges. And to our next question, so what do you enjoy the most about your areas of study? What do you dislike about it, and what do you like the most about it?
Um, is that for John or me?
Oh, sorry, I didn't. John, do you want to set this up?
Sure. I'll start it up again. So in my field of engineering, you do start off with a lot of prerequisites, but once you get past those, it's lots of fun classes if you like doing hands-on stuff, and depending on your university, that could mean a shop class, that could mean a CAD programming class, basically anything. There's a lot of great people in the engineering field, so there's like a great sense of community. And in my opinion, my kind of least favorite part about engineering is sometimes the workload of classes can be kind of stressful, but I get through it. So, yeah.
That makes sense. A ton of classes, ton of hard work, a ton of STEM classes, even more hard work. So just STEM majors are very difficult, and just something to remember when you're applying for them. So thank you for that. Clement, do you want to continue? We know you haven't exactly entered college yet, but
Yeah.
if you could give
So
some
yeah, I know I haven't like officially started yet, but I think I've pretty much heard like from every engineering major that it's a lot of work. So right now I'm starting with like the stuff I might not like. So I think my dad always told me that labs are less units, but end up actually being more work than like several of your lecture units classes combined. So that's probably like one reason, labs can be very demanding. And sometimes like some problems are like really, really hard to solve. Like even if you like try to get help, and like it's still a very hard problem for a lot of experienced people, but definitely just like work through them and communicate with your professor. Areas I enjoy the most about computer engineering is that you get to always solve a lot of problems, whether it's math, physics, or computer science, or even like the electrical engineering aspect. You are always solving problems and like finding out new ways of solving problems. So I feel like that's my most favorite aspect of it.
I'm becoming more and more interested in computer engineering, and knowing that about it, it's probably gonna help me more about it. All right, thank you. Now for Sid, could you give us a little?
I'd say the aspect of my major that I most enjoy is once you get through those prerequisites prereqs and like lower div classes, you start to get the classes that really are major specific. And that's just not something you'll find in high school or even early college. But once you do, it's really cool content. Uh, so that's definitely something to look forward to. As far as what sucks about it, um, like John said, the prereqs, they can be pretty annoying to get through. So if you have like AP credit, definitely apply it where you can. Uh, I made the mistake of not applying AP Chem. It's the worst mistake of my life. And then just like don't assume that if you get into a good university, the professors are going to be great. That's definitely not true. And you're probably going to get classes with professors that might suck or, more focused on research than caring about their students. So just something to watch out for. Uh, but, we'll push through it. Everyone does.
Yeah, AP classes definitely have a ton of effect on your area of study. You get credit for them, you get your expertise early in high school, so you can build your interest. So thank you for that. For the next question, are there any particularly important skills to have in your area of study? Like things that you might want to know, soft skills, hard skills, classes you need to take. We start with John.
Sure. So I'm gonna keep it kind of simple here. So for college, the main ones that I noticed were you should stay organized, which like meaning just that can mean keep your dorm room organized, keep your folders organized. Heck, maybe just keeping your anything, anything organized. You can also you also use a lot of time management skills in college when studying, but in the general engineering field, good math skills, math is a big part of mechanical engineering, and problem solving, that's another big one. So, yeah, on the topic of classes, just as painful as they can be, like Sid said, just get your prerequisites done first, and then you can move on to the fun stuff.
Thank you for that. Fun stuff is most definitely the fun part. So getting the easy stuff, the hard stuff out of the way, moving on to the fun, easy stuff is definitely going to make the last few years of college a lot more enjoyable. Clement, do you want to continue?
Yeah, so like a lot of engineering majors, definitely have strong fundamentals in math and physics in high school. Like definitely pay attention the most in those classes. Um, and also for computer engineering, also like dab into more programming. Um, just I feel like the programming in computer engineering is much harder compared to what you learn like in general. Like for example, like C and C++, these languages are like very complex and machine oriented, but like something like Python is a little more easier to digest and it lets you like kind of understand how it works. So definitely coming into college with those skills is very helpful. Um, and other skills that are, I believe are important are computer engineering is I'm not sure if this is a skill, but definitely know that you like working with computers. I feel like if you don't enjoy working with computers, whether it's like, uh trying to figure out the hardware stuff or like, even staring at a screen, like you're not really going to enjoy the major. So make sure that you really enjoy what is expected of in the major before you declare it.
All right, definitely something important to take account about your majors and what you need to know about it. So thank you for that. Sid, do you want to continue?
Yeah. Uh, you guys have touched on this already, but just fundamentals and especially math. There's not really any engineering class that you'll take that doesn't require some sort of math, usually calculus. Um, and then just a strong understanding of physics. But I guess like gearhead specific, literally any sub team that you're part of, uh, this extends to all engineering majors will help because in general you'll find that it's not enough. Or I mean maybe it is, but it's better to not only do your classwork but get involved with something like research. Um, do a co-op during the school year, do some school clubs, and within those clubs, research whatever you're going to be using stuff like programming, CAD, machining, working with electronics. So any of the skills that you're sort of gaining on robotics will definitely help. So yeah, don't discount anything, even if it's not specific to your major. Like I was very surprised by the amount of like Python and just coding that I had to do. I didn't really imagine as an aerospace engineering major I'd be working with that kind of stuff. But I guess times have changed, and yeah, you just gotta roll with the punches, I guess.
Yeah, definitely great to have a wide variety of different classes and expertise that you can get in high school, which will help you get more accustomed to stuff in college. Yeah, which is why I'm taking the comp sci class right now. I actually got recommended it by someone around your area, I think. So our next question is going to be for John and Sid. What does a normal day at college look like? So let's just start with John. What does a normal day in college look like to you?
So for me, a normal day in college is just like wake up, eat breakfast, walk to class, then go to either your next class or your dorm to work. Then at the end of your day of classes, I go back to my dorm, eat dinner, then I basically continue my work until round 5. My recommendation or my strategy is to treat it as a 9 to 5, meaning your work starts at 9 and ends at 5, like coursework wise, and then after 5 I just kind of have fun in a way.
All right, yeah, that's definitely I haven't heard it before. I mean, it sounds smart, do you work hard for your 8 hours a day, have your lunch, and then you just get the rest of the day off to chill, do your homework. Yeah. So that sounds pretty nice to me. Sid, what's a normal day in college look like to you?
For my weekdays, I wake up, like 30 minutes before one of my earliest classes, uh, chew through the classes for the day, um, fit in lunch, hopefully, uh, and work on my homework and classwork and stuff between classes. After that, I go to my club, Design Build Fly. It's like robotics but for planes. And build season is all year round. But it's a good time sink, and that pretty much takes me to past dinner time. Eat dinner, work on homework, and rinse and repeat for the weekdays, and save the going out for the weekends.
That club sounds really interesting. I can't imagine build season the entire year. I don't think don't know about my homework and grades taking that, but definitely sounds fun. So I guess we can move on to our next question. So if you guys took part in an internship or research or whatever it is, what was it? What did you do? And how did you apply/look for internships even if you didn't end up participating in one? So Sid, I know you did one, right? Yeah, so
Yeah,
Sid, can you start us off?
sure. So for internships, I've had a couple. Summer after my freshman year, I interned at a startup called Biotech. They're based in South Carolina, and essentially they work on battery alternatives to powering like hydraulic systems for like bucket trucks and stuff. The trucks that take like electricians up and service like power lines. Um, so that was pretty cool. Uh, Basically working in a sweaty warehouse for hours at a time. But the team was really small and close knit, very hands on. So it was pretty cool. Uh, and then this summer, I interned at Northrop Grumman, specifically the propulsion sub team in the flight sciences department. So they work on uh, designs for fighter jets, bombers, missiles, etc. In future design, stuff you wouldn't see or might not ever see, depending on how the contract goes. Stuff like, the B-21 they just launched, that started in that department. That was pretty cool. I was specifically involved with air breathing propulsion, so I worked on looking through like engine cycles and performance installations, inlet design for aircraft, nozzles, stuff like that. It's definitely pretty interesting. Very different, working in a corporate environment as opposed to the other internship, which was a startup. But at the same time, the team at Northrop was pretty small. Uh, so it wasn't, I guess, too far off, but pretty cool. Um, as far as applying for internships, just you'll have tons of opportunities in college. Uh, Definitely networking is king. My first internship I got because a friend of mine, Vade, you guys might know him. His mom works at the company. They were looking for someone who's good at CAD. I just, he reached out to me and I was like, yeah, sure. And I ended up in South Carolina for the summer. Uh, but companies want to hire you for internships and turn you into full time. So you'll definitely see them spring up around campus. Make sure to apply to as many as you can. It's again a numbers game, just like college applications. Just because you're qualified doesn't mean like 1,000 other people aren't qualified and are probably going to go for the same application. So don't hedge your bets on like one app. Definitely spread yourself out and apply to as many as possible. And especially those first few years, I would recommend not being too picky. Like my first internship did not have anything to do with airplanes at all, but it still helped me get future job offers. So internships are very scarce for those first 2 years. So definitely take whatever you can get, but don't take an unpaid internship. That's a violation of many human rights. So don't do that stuff.
Definitely some good advice for internships and stuff. It's very nice that you actually ended up getting to find something that something in your passion and slash your major at the end. So thank you for the advice on that. Clement, I don't, if you didn't work at an internship, I know you were a TA for physics. Can you talk a little bit about what your experience was like as a TA for physics, for AP physics?
Yeah, so I didn't have a specific like internship experience, but I am starting up a research assistant position at
Okay, so
UCSB.
you do have one. Okay.
I can talk about both if you want.
Okay, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so as a TA in physics, in high school, unfortunately it was unpaid. I mean, Miss Dee gave me a couple crackers and like, some gifts for like Christmas and such. Um, but yeah, I feel like it was a really nice experience to directly help my peers. I decided TA for AP Physics 1 because I knew it was a very hard class, even for me. And I really felt like solidifying their knowledge and kind of demonstrating the labs helped me feel like, oh, this is how you do it. And I was refining my knowledge in physics. Like, I feel like teaching really helps you remember a lot of the things and learning like how to apply them and how to really explain very difficult concepts in a way that like matches like their knowledge background. I feel like the best way of teaching is, knowing what your students know and don't know. Yeah, also I use some graphical analysis technology to like demonstrate labs and like you know illustrate the relationship of physics equations and such and concepts. So that was definitely a very meaningful experience. And um, one perk is that you get to sort of be part of like the prospect administration. Like, you can have access to like a secret copy machine room or, you know, see a lot of like the stuff that you wouldn't see as a regular student. Um, and then I'm just starting a research assistant position for machine learning at UCSB. Um, so what my task is basically I'm implementing certain machine learning algorithms to like model medical trends. Whether it is, for example, on average, how long did it take for this person to recover from this treatment, or um, for example, did this person like for the people who washed their hands, were they less likely to get COVID, for example, stuff like that. Um, so yeah, it was basically very fun. I learned a lot about machine learning. and like applying them to solve real life problems. I think specifically for internships or research assistant positions, I know when you go in, you might feel like, oh no, was I supposed to know this thing? Or oh my God, this is a lot of information to handle, right? But something that's most important is having a growth mindset and always asking a lot of questions, like John said. Because going into that research assistant position, I was like, oh no, I thought I should have known this, right? But definitely, I try my best to learn it as soon as possible, understand how to apply it, ask a lot of questions, and yeah, that's how you like kind of feel more accustomed to it.
All right, yeah, thank you for that. Your expertise, to being a TA and being a research intern. Thank you for that. I think we can move on to the next question now. So if you live in a dorm, what is dorm like life? So, Sid and John, I think you guys are the only one that's lived in a dorm so far. But Clement, you could tell us a little bit about the dorm application process, I guess. So John, why don't you kick us off?
Sure. So from my experience in the first year, it was a good experience. It's kind of hard to get used to after being used to wherever you live for like most of your life before that. But there's a good sense of community depending on what you do. And my recommendation for that is make friends with your neighbors. I met a lot of people by doing that. But overall, the dorm kind of makes you practice tidiness because if you don't like keep things clean and keep your desk organized for someone like me, I'll notice it in a matter of days and have to clean it all up. But yeah, pretty much that sums up my dorm life.
All right, thank you for that. Sid, do you want to continue?
Yeah, building off of that, I'd say dorm life is not that bad. I mean, it probably depends a lot on where you go and the quality of the dorms there. Fortunately for me, dorm I was in at UCLA was pretty clean. Uh, it's definitely a lot of people on one floor, so it's a great opportunity to make friends. Like John said, there's a community. I know at UCLA, if you want to be surrounded by, I guess, like-minded people, you could join like a LLC, something learning community. They basically just stick a bunch of people of like similar majors in a dorm floor and let them have fun. Uh, I'd say definitely if you can try to be selective about your roommates. I was fortunate enough to be with one person I know, and the other guy was super cool. But I've heard horror stories about bad roommates, and they don't even necessarily have to be a bad person. If you guys just have different lifestyle preferences, it can cause some conflicts, and you're going to be living with these people for a long time. So if you can avoid going with random roommates, do so. If you can't, most colleges I think will give you like preferences with their like autumn roommate selection. So yeah, just be careful with that. I think that's the biggest advice I.
Thank you for that. Definitely, roommates will make or break your college experience. Clement, so how is the UCSB dorm application process?
Okay, so unlike UCLA, we also have LLCs, living and learning communities. Whether you're interested in like specific ethnic communities, so like for example LGBTQ plus, or you want like a women in STEM community, for example, there are a lot of those. I feel like living and learning communities can really help you kind of sort of get like guaranteed a spot in a dorm. That's for the case for UCSB. And also, if since you're a first year, you technically have the lowest. I mean, you do have the lowest priority, like dorm, compared to like second years, because I actually signed up for a dorm of two people, and then I got assigned for like everyone got assigned threes. So basically, don't be too picky about your dorm in the first place. And yeah, like Sid said, it definitely helps if you know someone as a roommate, because if you go with a random roommate and you guys like don't know each other, you don't know that their preferences are completely different, it could go all wrong. I mean, even if you do go with your best friend, like you might learn some different things about them that you might not have known before. But definitely, like whether it's your best friend or other people, um, communicate with each other, know what your boundaries are. For example, what time are you going to get up, or what time do you like go to bed and such. So you kind of have you can kind of expect what their lifestyle is like, so that you are not like surprised when, for example, oh, they get up at 5 a.m. when you get up at 11 a.m., for example.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, as someone with a not so great sleep schedule, it's definitely gonna be fun coordinating with the roommate in college. But just a random question, a bit off topic, but if you guys could recommend one item that incoming college freshmen bring to their dorm, what would it be? John, you want to start something?
I might need a few
Okay.
to think about that if anyone else has an idea already.
Clement?
So I haven't like actually been there yet, but I've heard that an extension cord is really good because not only can you like charge like your stuff, your friends can charge your phone too or charge computers a lot at a time. I think there are some extension cords that could like support up to like 9 or something. So
That's
definitely like it you don't that way you don't run out of like places to charge, and then you won't be end up finding like, hey, I really want to charge my phone, but no, your computer's at 3%. So that's how
yeah.
you kind of resolve that kind of situation.
Anyone
Yeah,
else?
I agree with the power strip, and something I'll add on to that is like those desk organizer boxes, or like those brand of box called like Real Useful Box or whatever, those kind
Uh,
of plastic boxes.
can't
I
say
don't
I've
know.
heard
They
of that.
sell them at hardware stores. Those things, or general stuff, desk organizers. Those are definitely useful.
See.
That's a tough one. Um, I'd say a lamp personally helped me, especially because my roommates, or one of them tended to sleep earlier, so that way he could turn the main light off, but I could keep studying because I'm, more of like a night owl. Uh, and then definitely if you have, like moving away from home for the first time can be pretty jarring for people. So just like various memorabilia, pictures, whatever makes your dorm feel more like home, I think has helped people feel less homesick. So definitely don't miss out on that stuff. But I wouldn't worry too much about like even if you're way out of state, usually colleges would have on-campus stores or some sort of convenience store nearby. It's for essentials. It's a college, but yeah, definitely don't bring too much stuff. Otherwise, you'll be a nuisance to your roommates.
That definitely makes sense. All right, thank you for that. And with that, I think we can move on to our next question. This might not apply to Clement, but so what has worked for you when studying for college? I guess Clement, you could answer about studying for high school or your senior year, slash college applications. Uh,
Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm not, I haven't taken like a class at UCSB yet, but I have taken for college courses at community college. Um, and I feel like what really has helped me was trying to really like don't wait until the last minute to like understand the concept. Sometimes if you get stuck on something, you should get help right away and do your homework early so you at least know what areas of improvement you have, and also like getting improving on those so that you're ready, to take on tests and such. Um, like I said earlier, it really helps to have time management skills. Like the earlier you get things done, just like John's 9 to 5 model, you can really have a lot of time to like relax and do fun stuff around. Um, and yeah, just there's also a lot of I believe like a lot of colleges have some sort of tutoring service. So in case you're really stuck on something, definitely go to those. Go to office hours, and also like set up Discord servers or something to kind of help each other and receive help.
Right, definitely that makes sense. Some good advice. Sid, you wanna go ahead?
Yeah, I'd say setting deadlines definitely helps. It can be easy to lose track of things, and it's not necessarily like high school where everything's centralized. Some professors are quirky and want to use some other third person like platform, third party, sorry. So it can be easy to lose track of things. I like using Google Calendar. It helps me, keep track of things. And then definitely make friends within your major because you guys are going to be taking the same classes for 4 years, and they're probably going to be your biggest source of help in classes, collaboration with assignments, stuff like that. So definitely utilize that, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Go to office hours if you need to. There's always someone around to help you, but I wouldn't be too worried about it.
That definitely makes sense. So yeah, majors, just like when classes, you want to know which teachers are the hardest in high school, and the same applies for colleges, I'm assuming. John, you want to start off on the next one? Let me start us off. Yes.
Yeah, so a lot of things were like a lot of really good things were mentioned, like getting work done, attending office hours if you don't understand something, and something I also do to prevent from getting overwhelmed or just getting to that point where nothing really makes sense, where your brain kind of shuts down, is so after every hour of work, I personally take a short break to let my brain rest, and I find it overwhelming if I don't. And a lot of people can probably find it distracting, find a lot of distractions while trying to study. So, my recommendation for that is just put all your devices to the side or somewhere where you can't see them. But music is fine typically, but some people find it distracting. Some people find it that they need it to focus, to each his own. But yeah.
Definitely something that I could use. Whenever I'm getting too distracted from studying for a math test or something, take a little bit of a break and come back to it. All right. I think we have just one more question left. Is there any other advice, general tips, tricks you have for incoming college freshmen and current high schoolers who plan on attending college or applying to college? Let's start with Clement. Clement, what do you have?
Yeah, so this is not exactly robotics related, but try to get your driver's license as early as you can. I feel like because I waited all the way until like second semester my senior year to start with like the whole process, like the permit and such. And I mean, I did fortunately get it before attending college, even though I don't have a car my freshman year. I'm not allowed to. Because it's a stepping stone to starting becoming independent. I feel like if the more chances you have to be independent before college definitely helps you kind of prepare for that sort of thing. Your parents are always willing to help and definitely give great advice, keep listening to them. But also maybe like try to find opportunities to say, hey, can I do my laundry on my own for once? Or, you know, uh let's say your parents really want to go to this one restaurant that you want to go to another one, say, hey, could I, probably go to that restaurant? And definitely have sort of that sort of balance between being with your family and also being independent. But having that like experience being independent is not going to make college like a sudden shocker. Because for friends I know who were very close to their parents, and then they walked into college like, oh no, what am I supposed to do? What like what time should I go to bed? Or um, you know, when should I get dinner, for example? I think definitely being independent starts to give you some more awareness of what like adult life is like. So yeah.
So something that makes sense, becoming more independent before you go on to college, getting accustomed to having a life where you can make your own decisions. Sid, do you have any tips or tricks for incoming college freshmen?
Yeah, I think I would actually disagree a little bit. I wouldn't stress out too much on the driver's license thing. Specifically, parking is really expensive, and I like UCLA, it's just like and similar colleges, it's super crowded. There's a good chance for that first 2 years you're probably not going to bring a car. So if you don't have it, don't stress out about it. But just all the stuff we've touched on today, work ethic, extracurriculars, all that stuff, it adds up. Um, College isn't too different from high school. If you take on a large workload in high school, but the independence part definitely helps. Uh, Try to make the most of your experience there. I'm going on my third year and I already have regrets on missing out on certain things, activities. I just thought, I'll do it later, but you're not gonna get these few years back once you graduate. Uh, Another thing is in college it's different. Lots of professors teach the same class. It's not like if you don't like Miss D, that's too damn bad. You're gonna have to take Miss T no matter what. That's not the case anymore. They usually cycle it sometimes, I guess. I know for UCLA, there's a website called like Brew and Walk. It'll give you professor reviews written by students, sometimes even TAs. If not, there's always Rate My Professor. But the professor can really make or break the class, and more importantly, make or break your GPA. Which, depending on what major you are, might matter to you, might matter less. Um, but definitely something to watch out for. And I'd say for anyone robotics, I definitely seek out some engineering clubs once you get into UCLA. If you're, or sorry, not UCLA, just like college. If you're into that stuff, there's a lot of things. You could build like formula cars, you could build drones, planes, rockets, little robots like battle bots. I know. I remember in the lab watching battle bots during like dinner time and build season. They have college teams for that. You can be part of the team on TV. So your journey definitely doesn't end once high school ends. There's a lot of opportunities like robotics, and might be even better for you. So definitely reach out and try to join those clubs if you can.
Yeah, something definitely to keep in mind. I know our team has attempted to keep the battle boss tradition alive during dinner times. Teachers will have a massive impact on your grade and your college life. So definitely make sure that you know exactly what you're getting into when you sign up for a course. Last but not least, John, do you want to give us the last answer?
Yeah, sure. So, in general, I say just enter with confidence. It sounds scary to some people, but it's a breeze if you do it right. And like I said earlier, once you're at college, make good friends with your neighbors and professors, especially, even if it just means like a small hello when passing by. And finally, just get involved in clubs, not only because they're fun, but you also meet a lot of people, you get work experience in certain things, and yeah, all that.
Definitely. College is a way, if it's one of the big things about college is being social, making some friends, making some connections between up and later in life. It's also, the days of the partying and excessive dancing. Yes. So it's definitely, a good idea to make some good friends and be social, meet some new people. Usually this is the point in the stream where we'd have the live stream viewers ask a few questions, but that's not really possible right now. So Marco, you have any questions you'd like to ask?
Sure. This one probably is only specific to John and Sid, but do you guys have a favorite dining hall food that you've had?
Uh, Anything made to order, pretty much. There's a lot of, yeah, that's all I've got to say.
Okay.
I don't mean to brag or anything, but UCLA #1 dining in the nation. Uh, I mean, that being said, I don't really eat that stuff that much because I'm on campus all day. I usually just eat it. I end up eating Subway. Um, but I guess don't skip out on like dorm food. I'm actually like rooming in a dorm again because cooking food for yourself and like meal prepping and stuff, it takes time. And like at UCLA, they'll have like special events, like themes for specific cultures. So if whatever college you go to has those, definitely check those out. But at the end of the day, it is like dorm food. It's not going to be home food, so don't go in there with your expectations too high, but you might be pleasantly surprised, I think.
Definitely. I've seen those viral Instagram EL videos. And if UCLA is better than that, it must be amazing.
Yeah, for me, I only have one data point, only from orientation. Yeah, I guess just but like they said, don't have your expectations super, super high. But definitely, feel free to try out a lot of places. Like I feel like if you spend all of college eating like one specific place, like for the full 4 years, you're not really gonna find out like what you like some new things, like some new foods that are around. So definitely like, try new things. Um, you can also ask like upperclassmen, okay, should I try this? And then you can find out like whether it's generally good food or not.
I don't know, man. Subway for 4 years sounds pretty good to me. But
I would agree.
Finally, someone likes Subway, man. Healthy.
Subway's got a top tier fast food.
Yeah, but eat
Oh,
health. Like freshman 15 is a real thing. If like
yeah,
you keep your
eat.
head in your
Yes, it is.
books and you eat nothing but pizza every day, you're gonna get diabetes, man. Not good.
Eat fresh, yeah.
Eat
I mean,
fresh.
Prospect Robotics doesn't have the best track record with like 3 cup noodles a day. So
Oh my God, you guys still have those? Dude.
I had one today right before I got here as lunch. I mean, as dinner.
Oh,
So
no.
yeah. Anyways, a bit off topic now. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we can actually probably end the recording here. So bye.